All right. Welcome back to another amazing show with Bleach Bangs. And we've got Russell from Etched in Embers. I just kind of want to introduce myself a little bit. I'm Randy from Oklahoma City.
Right on.
I am John. I'm in Topeka, Kansas.
Go ahead, Russell.
I am in Lake Ozark, Missouri, in my basement, kind of my slash studio, the lair.
Nice.
And I'm just a random add-on that came on about 10 minutes ago. I'm Ashton, also from OKC.
Right on. Are you two in the same house?
Oh, no. God, no.
Curious. I'm gonna have to ask.
He's like, right. Dude, I did that for 19 years. Fuck that.
Yeah, no, I'm done too.
Well, I don't know if you guys know, but my son's in the band.
No.
Yeah. So that's why I asked earlier. And but yeah, we kind of didn't say anything about it for a long time. Everybody thought we were brothers. And well, he's only been in the band for about 16 months. So but we were auditioning bass players, and he's a musician, so he just, he bought a bass, and he's like, oh, I could probably do this. So it wasn't by design, but yeah. But so it's out there now. We were kind of trying to hide my age a little bit and then playing that.
That's really cool. Have you? That just reminded me of Paralandra. Have you heard of them?
We've got a show with Paralandra October 14th.
Dude, they're so awesome. Saw them at Rocklahoma, and then my wife was like, "You do know that the guitar player is her dad, right?" Yeah. I was like, no, and he looks young. She looks young. Everybody looks so fucking young. I was like, there's no way.
Cassandra's killer. We've had the been honored to do a handful of shows with them, and they bring us in. They're from Springfield. We're kind of in the middle of markets. We don't have a Lake of the Ozarks area has 20, 30 probably 30 or 40 venues, if not more, but they're all cover band, tourism type stuff. So original hard rock metal doesn't really sell here. We do shows here and they do well, but they're very, very rare. So, but no, so yeah, we're headed to Mountain Home, Arkansas to Oasis nightclub with Paralandra on October 14th. So
spectacular. Well, we're hoping to get them on the show soon. I when I saw them at Rocklahoma, I texted John right away. I was like, dude, we have got to get these guys on the show. And I've got the email out there to them, and we started talking a little bit. It just seems like it stopped. I'm like, oh.
Well, I mentioned to him, she's the lead singer of the Life Project as well.
Yes.
With Josh Rand, and we did their first Josh Rand's or the Life Project's first show down at Springfield with them at the Riff. So we got to open that show up. So
awesome,
pretty killer night of music for sure.
Awesome.
And the Life Project's bassist is a friend of ours as well.
Oh, right on. Yeah. From Tantric. Yeah.
Yep.
He's also done some work with other bands, and we've known him over the years. So
yeah.
It's the entire community just keeps getting smaller and smaller. Like
it's a very small world. I've noticed. I've been in music for a long time, but it's I'm crossing back paths with people that I've known for 15, 20 years, and just kind of went out and did their own thing, and we're kind of circling back around the same stomping grounds again. So
Yep. But yeah, it's cool. So what do you guys have coming down the pipe for us?
Well, Fear's been out. The newest release has been out for a couple months. We were kind of late to the game on it because we had, as far as pushing it, because we were playing quite a bit. So it's nearing the end of its cycle. Did real well for us. Hit number I think 19 on the Billboard MRI chart. Had some success across the country and out on both coasts. Got some spins. It's some good stations. So we're real happy with that one. But we're getting ready to drop another one early November.
Okay.
Because of Prime. So everything's been finalized. We shot the video for it back in February or March. Same thing as Fear. So we've been sitting on those a little while. So those are coming out, or that's going to be dropping. We'll be making that announcement real soon. And then we will, of course, we got a couple shows, as I said, the October 14th at Paralandra. And then we're up in Ottumwa, Iowa with Rocktoberfest with bands like Widow 7, All Things Lost. It's about 10 band bill. It's going to be a good Halloween event. And then we're off for a little while, head back to the studio early November, out with Chris Dawson and the Phonics Studios, who's produced the last 5 or 6 songs of ours.
Yeah, another one, Chris Dawson. Real familiar with him. God, what band did he play in? Oh my gosh.
Seasons After.
Yes. Thank you. And I see his name all over people's stuff now. It's like this guy is.
Oh yeah, he's getting it done. He's got some good stuff coming up. I'm not at liberty to speak about it, but yeah, he's got some really killer things in the progress or in the works. And it's crazy because I was a fan of Seasons After. It wasn't by design that I met Chris and started working with him. It was more in the hunt for radio promotion or radio distribution. So, who we work with, Landshark Promotion out of New Jersey, they had, he had kind of directed us back to Chris and to work on some, we sent a batch out of tunes, and there were some that they liked, and we wanted to kind of rework them a little bit. So it just kind of, we made some really good friends in the last couple of years, and that's really helped us get some places where we were shooting to be. So.
Yeah, he's definitely solid. He is solid. So lots of bands have been going to him. And like I said, I've seen his name on a whole lot of different covers and albums, and
he's got the most played song on Octane right now with Outlier and Living Dead.
So cool.
He's killing it. He's killing
it. He's spectacular. Of course, this isn't about him.
No, I mean, we like to talk to people that we work with and
share the love a little bit.
I have a question about your song Fear.
What's that?
I have a question about your song Fear, or the video maybe. Right. There seem to be like some military undertones to it. Did any of you guys have a background with the military, or was there?
My son is a former Marine, and he's the bass player of the band. So that wasn't really by design. We recorded the video, shot all the footage, and then left it up to our producer to get some of the abstract editing done. And, he knew kind of where I was coming from with the song. And it wasn't really anything intended with that by any means. But, the song plays into the fact that it's been tough for some people to get back to normal. And a lot of people living in fear. And we're seeing it even in Missouri, where the restrictions were pretty light. I'm hoping someday we get past talking about all the last 2 years, but in all honesty, this band is only 2 years old. So we have to talk about the last 2 years because that's all we got. So we started the band and then the world shut down. So it's like, holy shit. But
like a COVID hobby.
Yes. Well, no, it was before we tracked the first single that we released in January of 2020.
Okay.
The band was a concept. Tyler and I had been in different bands before, and we were in a project together, the lead guitar player, Tyler Kenyon, back in 2014, 2015. And we had written some songs back then in that project and parted ways. And I did the acoustic thing. I had lost a guitar player who passed away in a previous project, and was kind of stuck in a frame of mind where it was just, he was young. So I went and did the acoustic thing, doing shows around, central Midwest area. People like Bobby Amaru from Saliva and Nate from Shaman's Harvest, you guys like that.
Yeah.
I had a health scare in 2018 and wasn't sure I was going to step back foot on a stage. I had a little episode actually on a stage. I had a couple episodes on stage, and in 2018, I started having pass out spells. So
scary.
Yeah. And I wasn't sure what was going on. I had an idea, but it went through about a year of testing and found out it was nerve damage in my neck that was causing it. And basically self-rehabilitator. Now that I know what it is, I do things to help to work that out. But so in 2019, thinking that I was like, I got a lot of songs written that I need to get recorded. Right. I'm gonna die. So that's what this band was born out of, was like, hey, I got to get this done. But so Tyler and I got together. He was the drummer of the band originally, and in early 2019, kind of with the conceptual lineup. And I knew I needed to get him back on the lead guitar, although he was an incredible drummer. But we changed the lineup in late 2019. So I consider the band being born January 1 when we made the agreement that we were going to hit the studio. And that's when we dropped the first song in February, and then the world shuts down in March. So,
well, but congrats on getting back up and running after figuring out you had nerve damage. And I mean, you look like you're moving around great.
Yeah, I'm not moving around so well right now because I fell off a stage Friday night.
Oh, wow.
During setup. during setup, I was leaning down near it was a concrete stage about 5.5 foot up to concrete. And I had some cables underneath my foot. I kind of leaned down and rolled those cables rolled, and I had nowhere to grab it to, and just fell right to my side.
Of course, it's on setup too.
What's that?
I said, of course, it's on setup too. So you can't sit here and be like, oh yeah, I just killed that show and then ate it. It's like, well, the show almost killed me before it started.
No doubt. And I was like skeptical. I hopped right up, tried to play it off a little bit. And some people seen it. My drummer was like, it was like slow motion. And I was like, and knowing him, he would have got his phone out and videoed it if he could have. He said it was kind of funny, but
put it on TikTok, make a couple bucks.
Well, there you go.
Every band needs a TikTok. Yeah.
Right.
We have one, but it's not flooded with content like we'd like it to be. And we're not that cool. Hard. Yeah. It's a lot.
The bad thing about that is I remember when I would fall or do something like that, and I sprung up so fast that nobody even knew it happened. And then about 30, I stayed down a little bit longer. I kind of rolled over to one side to get up. I'm like,
now if you fall, it sounds like a car crash, and everyone's like, what happened?
Oh, it's like that guy falling into the drums or something, and it's good.
Yeah.
Meme that was going around. No, but yeah, I deal with a lot of pain. It's something I've dealt with. So that didn't, but yeah, I thank you though. And it was a bit more of a mental challenge than anything else to be able to know that I was going to be okay. And I am, and I don't, I just haven't had any spells or anything like that. It's just, something that I deal with, manage. So it's arthritis too. That's part of it. My family, at 20s, we were dealing with arthritis issues and things. We're labor workers, we are out there. I mean, I own a business it's pretty labor intensive, and I don't know, your body takes a toll for sure, or takes a damage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So sure. You said that you mentioned that fear is at the end of its life cycle. How do you guys go about releasing your singles?
We use distribution through DistroKid. So we set up our own releases. Okay. We are a self-managed independent band. We've had a lot of talks with management companies and things like that. But we set all that stuff up ourselves. Now, radio campaign, we use Landshark Promotion out of New Jersey, who handles tons of big bands that you've heard of all over the place. I mean, they work Kiss's campaign, AC/DC stuff. I mean,
did you hear he just said Kiss?
You every week.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
I'm a huge fan.
I was gonna say huge fan.
It's a long running joke that somehow Kiss gets brought up every week in our show.
Well, there you go.
You did it for me.
I have a few Kiss fanatic friends. My longtime stagehand, he is his whole basement is Kiss stuff. He has met them so many times. He's going on every Kiss cruise he's been on. He's fanatic, and the original drummer of this band has Kiss tattoo. So it's but I will say I'm eh. I mean,
that's where I'm at. That I went and saw Kiss the first time on Hot in the Shade, and I'm like, these guys are pretty fucking good. Yeah. I mean, they're solid. They're very good. And but to get to the level that some people are at, I never got there, but they were good, very good.
Well, I mean, they're definite showmen, and they have a thing, and they know their thing well. They do their thing well. And I'm a fan of Gene Simmons. I mean, I think his business sense and such is, so I like the guys individually and whatnot. But just, of course, I mean, I was in the age of watching the show on TV when they were playing. They had the TV show and stuff. There was a lot of weirdness in there.
There was. What was that show, John? I know you know. It's
I don't know.
Whatever, you do too. I remember watching that too.
Kiss would like to forget that, I think. We've all done stuff we'd like to forget, I'm sure. So I know it's like when my son got in the band, he's like, man, I'm so worried that there's gonna be videos if I screw up and stuff. I'm like, dude, just get over that shit right now.
Right.
You cannot be eaten up by everybody's got a phone.
You gotta own it.
Yeah.
Like if you fall off stage 5 foot on the concrete, you gotta get up and own it.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So I don't know. We try to act like there's always a camera on us because in most senses there always is.
There is.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So it looked like you had a couple of dates still left, and one of them was in Vegas. Is that still a deal?
Yeah, that's a done deal. That is, we are going to be out there. We're going to be building there'll be more dates announced, but what we're trying to do right now is get some studio work done. Okay. And then we're going to be digging back into our production rig, and we're going to be doing some additional production for lighting, things like that, cues off of stuff. And so we want to have a package when we go around that we have our own, our own look or so.
Right.
Bring at each show. A lot of bands do that now, and it's cool. It's like a headline experience with almost every band because they put their time into it to make it great. So we're going to be doing that. But we expect to be back in the studio at least once, maybe twice before the end of the year. Probably going to announce an EP drop that we've been pushing that back, and the sounds evolved a little bit, so we want to capture the evolution there to some degree. But we'll also be building a tour run out to Vegas when we go out and maybe hit the West Coast some. So that'll be something we'll be talking about. One thing I do want to get, for anybody that's watching, and if you catch this, quickly after it's aired, we're going to be doing a playlist challenge where we help Spotify numbers we don't buy anything. We don't buy play spins and anything like that, but we get fans and we get them engaged in challenges where they create like a playlist on Spotify and they get their friends and family to listen. And the first playlist to achieve a certain number, we just gave away an acoustic guitar that way.
Wow.
And what we're getting ready to do to announce is a show anywhere in the States that we're going to come to you and give you a private show. So it's going to be a Spotify challenge. So we have people create a 3-song playlist, name it, and that way we can search it, find it, and then log the results in, and then we get those analytics back through Spotify for every playlist of how many numbers or streams they're getting. So last time we did 5,000 streams on their playlist. Shit, they crushed it. Did it in like. And then we had 10, 15 people doing it. So it helps our numbers, and it's all
really cool.
And we make no money off it because Spotify pays chicken scratch, but
right.
But those numbers, unfortunately, are something that the industry gauges, and we're still trying to kick some doors down and get some things that we have kind of on our band bucket list in the near future. So
that's really cool. And you're adapting to what the music industry is doing now.
We're trying.
The bands can't be successful doing what they did 15 years ago. It just does not happen. Full albums don't seem to work as well. It's EPs, it's singles, let's see how many we can put out, every 2 or 3 months. You just have to adapt to what's going on. The bad thing is nobody really knows, the best solution to success.
That's, and it's funny you bring that up because when bands inquire with us or friends ask what our strategy is for certain things, and I explain to them there's no real one path for any for all bands. It's going to be a different route. We've seen some bands achieve success through their online through their group pages and things like that. Twitter, that's where we struggle, is getting people to use Twitter. But we have friends that have achieved an Octane test drive just because of the Twitter use and pushing on there. Now, there's a flip side of that too, and stations or individuals get pissed off because you're tagging them all the time or you're tweeting to them. But you have to wear a lot of hats right now, and it's a lot to take in. We try to spread out the workload. Of our social media, and we hire some social media managers and things. And we've kind of strayed away from that lately because I think Facebook's really putting the clench on a lot of us. We can't really get things out there like we used to. I spend a fair amount of money with Facebook. I used to spend a lot more just for ad content, getting that stuff out there. But I don't see that it's working quite like it used to.
No, and it's crazy. Even if you do a campaign, it says your total reach is like 67 people, or
Right.
it's like, where do they get this at? I mean, it's so crazy how they limit you, and what is the mechanics behind it, and who is it going to? And it's just crazy.
We've been kind of jacked on that front in a sense, because when we released a song called Had Enough back in the summer of 2020, they refused to allow us to post it. It was made under the Fair Use Act. All we did was use footage from news stations around the country and the world. And it wasn't really any type of imagery we were going for. It was just the overload of information that we're faced with every day. Things have happened all the time in our lives, but my God, they're just in our faces now. Everything is in our face so much. So the song is called Had Enough. It plays that a little bit. We got ATG from Discrepancies to come in and sing some verses on it, and they really drove it home. And then when we put it on Facebook and YouTube, they flagged it. And I had to go through a verification process with Facebook as an organization, and they deemed me as a political organization because of this song. We got through all the process and got verified as an individual. I had to share my personal address, all my information, ID card, all that stuff with them. I hope I'm all right. It says my internet connection's a little unstable. I've got people all over streaming and playing games and stuff. So. But anyway, we got through it all. But even when we uploaded that song or gave it to Space and Travel, sent it to them to upload to their YouTube, they messaged us and said, we're getting flagged. This video is not going to get the reach that your others had, but it's just part of it. I mean,
it's crazy.
Going back to how bands used to work, I was hanging up flyers everywhere and little handbills. I mean, when my band used to play in the past, I would have road signs I would stick in the ground along the drives. I mean, there was a lot of things we did to catch drive-by traffic, to catch that long-term traffic. Facebook could rip it all out from underneath us in a second, and we would have nothing. So it's hard for me to complain because it does help us reach different areas, but it's a very big animal to tame, and to make work right for you. So
before we get too short on time, Randy, I think we should play a little bit of Fear.
I was going to ask about that.
I'm sorry I yell so much, guys.
You're doing great.
I'm in a good mood. I'm in my studio. I'm actually working on a demo, so I'm in a damn good mood right now.
Hey, that's why we got you on here.
Love it. All right. Yeah, this is Fear. And of course, we're not going to play a whole lot of it because we're going to get flagged no matter what.
We'd let you. If they just call us, we'd let you.
It's crazy. Here we go. Fear.
Right on.
So yeah, I love it. I
want to also say your song From Ashes. I was watching that earlier today, and I absolutely love it. It's powerful. It's deep. It gives me chills. It's one of those songs.
Well, that's awesome. And that one flew under the radar because we didn't working with our producer. That was all done by remote. We actually tracked that song somewhere else. When we first started working with Dawson, he was in Wichita. It was during the COVID lockdowns. We were tracking in a place in Springfield where we could still get in. And then we sent those stems to him to work with and produce and such. So From Ashes was one of those early songs that he did remotely. And when I got it back from him, I was blown away because it was a pretty raw song and it didn't really change at all. It's just how he makes things sound. It was incredible. But he didn't feel it was a single and we weren't sure if it was. So we didn't push it to radio, and everybody we talked to in the industry is like, why'd you guys not send that to radio? So, oh well, but it's our set opener. We open with that one. So, and really we're a little heavier live. The song we're getting ready to drop is our heaviest yet, but the earlier tunes just were some of the ones that friends in the industry and things like that kind of were gravitating towards. So the heavier edge is kind of going to be coming along a little bit. So,
Russell, I know you said you're going to go to Vegas and you're going to rock some tour dates. I'm in Topeka, Kansas. If I can help you come through here, I will definitely do that.
Appreciate that, because we're gonna definitely be looking through Topeka and into Colorado area.
We have a small tiny dive bar that I have a little bit of pull with, that I might be able to just shoot a message to the owner and see what we can do.
Right on. Hopefully we're going to bring a band with us, a band or two with us too. So we'll have that way we're not hopping on shows already. We can at least bring a tour through. But we realize we're not big enough to put asses in seats or anything like that. So we'll definitely be working with people the best we can to get into those.
That's awesome.
That's what I do for my part here, and we will definitely try to get you. I'd love to see you guys live. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it.
And don't forget Oklahoma City.
No, we've actually about getting down there. Tulsa and Oklahoma City.
Okay, cool.
So we're in talks. We just, we bookings were kind of one off this year. We really didn't hunt any shows. We just had show offers or seen somebody that needed a band for a show. We've been fortunate to be on some killer ones. We played with Bad Flower this year, 10 years. Saul, Drowning Pool last year, Kingdom Collapse, Any Given Sin, Dropout Kings was a killer show. There's been some great shows.
All of those are solid. That's awesome.
There's one more thing I want to make sure we get out there, and I think I already put it in the chat, and I hope it's correct. It's etchedinembers.net.
Yes. Yep.
Is your one-stop shop for everything, and you've got your songs, and you've got some merch and stuff out there as well for people to go and shop there. So
absolutely,
I definitely want to make sure we got that part out there, and I want to make sure I put the right words. So
and that links to all of our socials. So you, like I said, one-stop shop. You can get in there and be linked to all the sites. And anybody that's listening, please follow, subscribe, because that's where it's at for us.
And buy merch at the shows. Go
Merch
out.
has been killing it, man. I can't complain. Merch has been killing it. We're about out of everything, and I'm not going to be able to get it in probably for the next shows. But we had a new line kind of intended to get going, but it was kind of in between who I wanted to use, and then we got busy, and it just, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's away from you. But no, we got new merch coming.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Not a bad problem to have, running out of merch though.
No, I mean, it's, we're cheap. The playing part, we're cheap to get. It's we just hope to sell some merch. So
exactly.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, we're actually looking like a business now. We're making money on merch. So.
Right.
But it just goes right back in. I always tell the guys that we have a good show, we always go to breakfast and merch money pays for it. And then we still got a lot afterwards. So if we're not having breakfast, merch ain't doing too good. So.
Right.
Oh, Russell, thank you so much. Anytime you need to get something out, we're live every Wednesday, 7 and 7:30 p.m.
Almost every Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pretty much.
They don't announce just messages not going on.
People show up and they're like, nobody's here.
Right. But just hop on.
Right on.
Use the same link that you use to get on. It's the same every time, and just like, hey, I just wanted to say what's up. And we got this happening. We got this happening. And you said you can get me in Topeka.
I jotted a bunch of notes down here. Yeah. So
like don't do any short notice stuff. I got to have a little window to work.
Right. Well, and we like to have a little window too. So we plan things out, but no, I definitely wouldn't call you and say, hey man, we're going to be in Topeka tomorrow. So although I guess that's working for some bands, setting up and playing just wherever, because we were in the Louder Than Life contest at DW Presents. And you're in their top 5 or top 10 Blackcraft unsigned chart. We were in there for 5 weeks. We were actually in there for 8 weeks, got retired off it in the top 10, peaked at number 2. And they were giving you a Louder Than Life slot to play down in Louisville last weekend. And the band right before the week where we hit 5, a band had set up and played in the parking lot for, I think, Incarceration.
Yeah.
And they put them on that show and then put them on the DW stage at Louder Than Life.
What?
Because a bunch of kids in a back of a truck playing out in the parking lot.
Showing initiative.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, hell, more power to them. But we missed that slot because of that. So
wow.
There were several reasons, but that was, there was a finite matter, a set number of slots they had, and we missed it by one.
Yeah, that was the nail in the coffin.
That would kind of hurt.
Yeah. But we're coming back with this next one, Your Crimes. We're actually setting its release up around some of the contests they do, because we think it's going to be a winner for us for sure. So
spectacular.
Yeah,
Spectacular.
I can't wait for everybody to hear it. Can't wait for everybody to hear it.
Right.
So if you guys, if you're
it.
on Facebook, hit us up at Etched and Embers Igniters, and we'll be previewing it in there for everybody that's in that group. It's a private group. So
cool. I'd really like to do that Spotify thing too, man.
Well, man,
right.
hop on over there. That's where it'll be going on, is in the Igniters page. So
okay, awesome. Yeah,
everybody's welcome to do it, and we'll depending on the winner where they're at, we'll decide whether we're going to try to do it like in your house, because we can run a rig and do acoustic, we can do whatever, but we want to make sure that whoever wins it, we can get a good setup for them, or maybe find a club even. But I'd like it to be intimate for them and close friends and family. So it's a reason they win it and they get to have that experience. We'll put it on YouTube and it'll be like live at Randy's house or whatever. And it'll be out there.
Really cool.
If it's live at Randy's house, I'm going back to Oklahoma.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Russell. We've got another guest coming on at any time, but you're definitely welcome to stick around if you'd like. It's Dee Snider's son.
No kidding. Well, I mean, I'll sit in the background at least. Yeah.
Can't miss that opportunity.
I thought I'd throw that out there if you just kind of wanted to sit over here and go.
Is he got something going on musically? Is he?
He has a band called Dilf currently.
Okay. I've heard of that. Okay. I mean, I was a huge Twisted Sister fan, man. Huge. I didn't have the hair, but
me either.
I had long hair, but I had to kiss it by.
Love it. You just got a new Twisted Sister album, John. Do you have it right there?
I do. It's came in the mail for me today.
Of course, he had it like in arm's reach. He's like, I'm going to be talking to Dee Snider's son. I gotta be able to reach for this.
It was such a fluke that it showed up today. I was just like, what?
Like going behind the ear trick. You're like, hang on, let me reach behind the camera.
It was definitely.
What's this? Just pull from behind his ear or something.
Yeah, exactly. We've actually had Dee on our show before, and it was really cool. And
don't show that too early.
Okay.
You're right.
You have nothing there. But we had a flyer from our show, and Dee Snider was in Oklahoma City, and we had it signed, and he's like, I remember that show. So that was really kind of cool. So
right on.
Or he was interviewing you guys.
Oh yeah.
Basically, he took over the interview and turned it around on us.
Yeah, he's a talker.
I mean,
he's a talker.
It's a good entertainment. I mean, I like that. I get told I try to do that sometimes too.
Those are the best ones. It really is. The ones that you have to try to fish information or come up with something. Those are so hard. But when it just flows,
yes,
like you're just hanging out.
I have had an interview or two where it's like really, really tough.
It is. It's just uncomfortable.
I feel like we had good flow going, so I'm very happy, and I'm super happy about your guys' music. So
absolutely,
that's awesome, man. That's
I'm
awesome.
glad
how do you guys know each other?
Oh God,
go for it, Randy.
Well,
I'm sorry.
No. It's all good.
Ashton's just like, again.
No shit. Well, I'm sure this is an every show deal. So yeah.
They have this little festival really close to my house. Probably an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours away from our house, called Rocklahoma every year.
Yeah.
And so back in, was it 2009, John? Or 8?
2008.
2008, me and my wife went to Rocklahoma, and one of our friends from Kansas, because we grew up in Kansas, knew this one guy from Topeka, and they were hanging out. And for somehow we all got together, and we met at Rocklahoma. We got drunk listening to fucking Poison, and I don't know who else was even there, and I'm like, this guy knows a lot of fucking 80s trivia and music shit that most people fucking don't. And then one of my other friends was like, dude, we should have been DJs. I am so sick of listening to the same thing on the radio every freaking day. We would have been good at this. And I was like, well, let's do it. And I found this website that allowed us to go on the internet, play music, talk, have callers, all kinds of good stuff. And we could do it from wherever we're at. So one of us was in New Mexico, one of them's in Topeka, and one of us in Oklahoma City. And it just kind of took off from there.
Right on.
Want to add anything, John? Did I miss anything there?
That pretty much wrapped it up.
Except for the text message of, hey, we go live at.
He didn't tell me anything about what we were about to do. Like, I just got a message from him like the day before our first show. And he was like, hey, we go live at 6 tomorrow. Bring your A game. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he doesn't respond to me for like the next half a day. And I'm like, I guess I better, when we were doing a list of vocalists, like our favorite vocalists from the era, you know? And so I was like, I guess I better get a list ready because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So I sat down and I started working out some of my favorite vocalists and prepared for him to respond to me finally to tell me what we were doing.
Who topped that list?
I don't even.
I
We would have to go through the
part.
We would have to go through the archive. I don't even remember. That would have been. That's a really good question. I'm sure it was like Millie from Stillheart or Sebastian.
I feel like he was on my list. Greg did, or I can't think of his name now. The singer of Babylon ID. I know he was on my list.
Oh yeah. Derek
Davis.
Derek Davis. Yes.
Yeah, like he was on there. I'm blank, but like I had a lot of probably like lesser known, not the mainstream singers.
Yeah.
Right.
I could see that. That's I listened to some weird stuff out there too, and had my favorites. But you said Sebastian Bach. I mean, I had a guy. It's actually here locally that he came down and auditioned for the band. I was just playing guitar in it, and he was Sebastian Bach to a T. He was something else. But yeah, we played with him for a little while.
That's really
cool.
Sebastian,
I don't know, man. He's out there a little bit, but
yeah, he seems to get a little farther out there each year.
I love him though. I love him. Yeah, there was that show on TV that he was on. I can't for the life of me think who all was on that. It was like a band deal, supergroup thing had on TV.
I think I remember what you're talking about. I can't remember what the name was either.
Might have been a VH1 or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you stayed on here because,
because
obviously, fashionably late.
I was just getting ready to message him and see if he responds to it.
I was going to say, is it a time zone difference that we know of?
Yeah, but I did make sure I said Central Standard Time. It happens.
Man, I screwed one up the other day. It was supposed to be on one, and they're like, "Did you miss this?" And I was like, "Holy shit!"
Right? Yeah,
it worked.
It's one of the most. It's one of the most frustrating things to deal with because we had one guy that I got off work, and of course, I get this email that says your guest has joined your Zoom call, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
it's not for 2 hours.
I was there for that.
I was like, what is going on? And he texted me, and he's like, hey, I'm here in the waiting room. Are we still doing this thing? And I said, yeah, in like 2 hours. He's like, shit, you said Central, didn't you?
My screw, it was actually my screw up. For some reason, because I have friends on, both coasts, and my brother was out, and I was thinking to him, I was talking to him, and then I just, for some reason, I was 2 hours late, essentially. But the guy messaged and said, hey, can we do this today? And we just did a little bit later on. But I've hopped on and sat in Zoom rooms for a while, though, because of that, or just,
yeah.
And then they get on like, hey, man, we got 45 minutes or so still.
Right. And it's even worse. We have some friends in Australia where it's like tomorrow morning, and they're just like drinking coffee, and it's like, wow. It's trying to get that set.
Yeah, it's weird because we have some friends over in Slovenia and the UK area, and
we didn't talk about that.
They'll get on our live streams, and it's like, hey, what time is it over there? And but yeah, they're I comment to them, and it's like they're sleeping. It's in the middle of the night or whatever.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So is that? Now we're just waiting. Now here's the awkward silence.
He just messaged me back and said, "Isn't it at 7?" And I was like, "Well, 7:30 Central." They got a time issue, is all.
So nailed it.
See what he says.
Nailed it.
It happens.
It's so 20 minutes from now is what he's saying, then, or.
Well, I think he's in California, so
that's funny.
We'll see. Now, so this is live, right? Is it?
Yeah, we're
live on Facebook.
However, Randy can send you the link tomorrow.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, we're probably not going to have Jesse on tonight. He is recording a commercial right now because we had a time issue.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on, and definitely thankful that you dig the music, John. That's awesome. We don't know. We talk. I think some people that's like that they're not even fans of the genre or anything like that, and it's always we're hoping that they dig it. But.
Yeah, this is the best part of doing this is finding bands like you. It's just like, why haven't I heard this?
I've got close friends and classmates I went to school with. They're just now hearing about it. It's like, holy shit. And I mean, it's weird. I mean, I've got nearly 5,000 friends on Facebook, but I might see the same 50 to 60 people, unless I physically search out a page and start liking on some of their stuff, then I might start seeing them again. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's just, obviously I don't know 5,000 people.
You'd be surprised. You might.
I mean, I want to know 5,000 people or more, but I can't remember all your names.
So. Right. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, the Facebook thing's kind of weird because I do see a lot of people that I should know their names. And I'm terrible at it. Absolutely terrible at it. So, and I mean, it goes outside of music. It's like people I should know and in the area I live, and it's ridiculous. So it's made it very, very awkward. And I think some people have kind of grown leery of actual real interaction outside of social media. So I think my kids are guilty of that even too. It's like, or my youngest kids, the social awkwardness and that they would rather be here than, out at a swimming pool or something. It's just odd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'll dip out, guys. I appreciate you having me.
All right. Well, thank you.
Snag this guitar, and hopefully we like I said, we're demoing tunes. We've got a bunch of stuff demoed. I mean, we've always got songs to choose from, but I always like to write fresh stuff and go to the studio so we get a little different flavor of it. And but yeah, I'm gonna try to wrap one up tonight.
Killer.
Right on.
All right. Well, man, shoot me that link and I'll share it around.
Okay, no problem.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Russell.
Have a good one.
You too, man.